I love Jesse Pinkman, and I think any sort of show or movie he's put in automatically makes it better. So the fact that it took as long as it did for him to be added to the DC cinematic universe is kind of appalling. Warner Brothers has been struggling to get DC off life support for years now, and it's not hard to see why. People were out here clowning on Morbius for flopping as hard as it did, and then Shazam 2 came out and flopped even harder. On top of that, they did such a bad job maintaining the story that their universe has now split into 3 different directions. The first one with Black Adam and all that garbage is getting cancelled, while the second one has been prophesized to be saved by James Gunn. And in the third and final corner, Joker sits alone. And if it didn't become the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, then I think it would have been killed off as well. But it did great, because it was great, and now they need to think of a way to make even more money off of it. So obviously a sequel was the first thing they greenlit, but you can't just do more of the same thing. You gotta do more of the same thing that other people are doing, like a cinematic universe, because they just work so well all the time. But you can't do superheroes again. James Gunn is already working on that. So what they gotta do is bring in new characters that people are already familiar with, but diverse enough to carry their own franchise. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you, on Warner Brothers' behalf, the Sigma Male Cinematic Universe. And it's just as cool as it sounds. You're gonna see characters like the guy from Drive face off, or team up, or have sex with Patrick Bateman, just like we always wanted. Joker was only a flagship for what was to come, and believe it or not, the seeds have already been planted for Jesse Pinkman to arrive in his second movie, because not only did he play a leading role in the greatest show ever made, but then he went ahead and gave us Jesse Pinkman the movie, or as some of the normies call it, El Camino, where we got to see him be fleshed out as a character and break his ties from Walter White. And so now you're probably thinking, that's cool and all, but the driver from Drive and Patrick Bateman already have their own movies. Why would Jesse be the first to join? Easy answer. Do you remember Sophie Dunman from the first Joker movie? Her mere existence was enough to play Arthur for a simp and realize she never really loved him. Well, it's been officially confirmed that she will be returning for a role in Joker 2. And if you haven't seen the new trailer for Black Mirror Season 6, you'll get to see that not only is she in it, but her new, now astronaut boyfriend, Jesse Pinkman, will be there as well. I predict that Jesse Pinkman and Sophie Dunman's relationship will serve as an antagonistic force for Joker and his mental health, which will ultimately make them the villains of the story. But wait, 2 villains against 1 hero? That's not very fair, you might say. Not only that, but it's one thing to make Joker a simp, because honestly, which one of us haven't simped at least once in our life? But to go from a simp and make him a cuck? That's not very Sigma male-y. Well, that's why they went ahead and gave him bitches! That's right, Lady Gaga is back and she has been casted to play the role of Harley Quinn, where she'll be an active public voice for Joker and his new confidant. Loads of leaked footage have been released showing her quirked up mentality. Perfect for a lad like Joker. I believe Jesse Pinkman and Sophie Dunman will be a straight man antagonistic couple for the Joker and Harley Quinn. And seeing that dynamic play off will not only make for a great movie, but officially establish their cinematic universe. Man, there's so many reasons on why this is such a good idea. I love Breaking Bad, and I love Joker, and the fact that we get to see them all together holding hands and making out, man, it's such a good time to be alive. Yeah, sure, in between the time of now and the first Joker movie, we had 3 years of COVID, a raid on our country's capital, and an economic recession that's looking to get even worse in the upcoming years. But you know what else we got? El Camino, which I think, personally, made the whole thing worth it. Because now, we got the next 10 years of our lives to look forward to for a cinematic universe that will truly define our voices. All that remains for us to do now is speculate. I know it'll be hard to do with only a small handful of these Sigma male movies out right now, but I don't think there's any harm in trying. So without further ado, allow me to give you my movie predictions on what this story will ultimately be about. It would have to start in some way that would allow Jesse and Joker to meet up with each other, which is hard because Jesse lives in Alaska now, and although there isn't a confirmed location of Gotham, it would be safe to say it's somewhere in the state of New York, mainly because it looks like shit. So the big thing to kick the story off would somehow have to get Jesse across America and into Gotham. And just going off the script a little, just hearing the idea of Jesse Pinkman hanging around in Gotham. But regardless, how would he even get there? Well, judging by the new characters like Harley Quinn, and the old ones like Sophie Dunman, I think the theme will ultimately revolve around women. So what's probably gonna happen is Harley Quinn and Joker will be doing some kind of crazy shenanigans that will be targeted directly against Sophie. And because Jesse is her astronaut boyfriend from outer space, he'll most likely get involved to defend his queen. And that's what's gonna set him after the Joker. And because he's an astronaut now, he can just fly his spaceship over the Earth and park it right outside of Joker's apartment. And at this point, Harley Quinn and Sophie can do whatever they want. They can try and stop him, sure, or they can make the situation worse. It doesn't matter. At that point, it will no longer be a fight to defend their queens. It will now be a fight on who is more of a Sigma male over the other. And for all my fellow Sigma males out there, you probably already know how brutal these fights can be. So Jesse will probably start it by shooting laser beams out of his eyes, which Joker will block using his Jolly Joker jiggling ball sack that will ricochet the laser beam right into the forehead of Murray Franklin, which is why he was casted to be in the second movie. From there, we'll get to see him fight for 2.5 hours. I'm talking good shit too. Real Sigma male combat. I'm talking about catapults flinging sharks, pies in the face laced with landmines, at least one joy buzzer, and all kinds of Tom and Jerry Sigma male brutality. Meanwhile, during the fight, Harley Quinn and Sophie will realize how damaging this fight is becoming on their world. So first they'll make up, and then they'll make out, naturally, and then they'll try to come up with different solutions to ending the Sigma battle. Believe it or not, I'm actually an expert on these kinds of stories, so I'm probably going to be right with this prediction. Based off of what usually happens, Sophie and Harley will write fake letters to Joker and Jesse pretending to be the other guy. They'll read that they're sorry for questioning their Alpha/Sigma authority and wish to hug it out. And I know what you're thinking. That all sounds like a really lame ending to the movie, right? Well, guess what? That would only be the conclusion for the second act. Because you know how second acts usually end? With tragedy. I don't know how, but I'm sure of it. Those letters are going to be exposed as fake and force them into fighting each other again. And if I had to guess on how they would get exposed, I would say it was by the hand of the #1 enemy to all Sigma males, aka the antagonist of the Sigma-matic universe, Brie Larson. Before she even exposes it, I bet she'll start off by telling them things that all Sigma males hate to hear, like, in order to have a girlfriend, you would first need the communication skills to actually talk to people. Or even worse, there are no shortcuts to becoming rich, and that you would need to put in the time and effort to make it happen. I'm sorry if saying those things rattled your bones, but I don't think Brie Larson's gonna hold her punches. So yeah, it'll be their darkest day. Joker and Jesse Pinkman will keep fighting each other, and Brie Larson becomes the ruler of Earth. That's what I would say if they weren't rescued by a veteran Sigma male we all know and love, Ken. From Drive. He's got exactly what they need to snap Joker and Jesse out of their Sigma battle. How? Beats me, but he'll do it. Then they'll all band together and stop Brie Larson from becoming the ruler of Earth. But so she can keep being a villain in later movies, she'll retreat to her white woman hideout, where she can plan her counterattack. But back to the Sigma 3. The movie will end with them jumping in the air and high-fiving before cutting to black. And just for the icing on the cake, the after credits will hype up a new key player in Gotham, one with money and influence, and a Sigma aura only seen in one movie before. If Joker 2 doesn't play out exactly as I predicted, I'm rioting. Let me know what you think, personally, about my epic predictions. I think I'm completely justified, but I'm okay with hearing other opinions. With that said, I'm personally rooting for Jesse in this movie, and I hope you are too. Bye.